Part 1. The Cecil Hotel. A doorway to darkness. There are places you should never enter alone, not because of ghosts, but because you don't know who or what might be waiting for you. Located on Main Street in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, the Cecil Hotel looks like a relic of another era. Grand Gothic-style structure lost in time. From the outside, it's just another aging building, but inside, there are things left behind that time simply couldn't erase. A dream turned nightmare when the Cecil Hotel opened in 1924. It was designed to be a symbol of post-war prosperity with over 700 rooms, marble floors, and elegant chandeliers. It welcomed middle-class travelers with promises of comfort and sophistication. But then came the Great Depression. The economy collapsed, crime surged, and the surrounding Skid Row neighborhood descended into a hell of poverty, addiction, and violence. The Cecil transformed from a haven to a hiding place, from a hotel to a trap, a legacy soaked in death. 1931, the first recorded suicide from the 7th floor. 1934, a man found dead after ingesting poison in his room. 1947, the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short was rumored to have visited the Cecil before her horrific murder. 1985, Richard Ramirez, the infamous Night Stalker, lived on the 14th floor during his killing spree, washing bloodstains in the hotel's basement. Laundry. Official records list at least 16 confirmed deaths inside Cecil. Unofficially, the number could be much higher. Why so many deaths at one place? Some psychologists suggest that architecture can absorb emotion, and when a place holds enough sorrow, enough fear, it begins to respond. The Cecil became a magnet for tragedy, a vortex of despair that seemed to pull in the vulnerable, the lost, and the damned. Over time, it earned a name, the most haunted hotel in America. Then came 2013, and the name Elisa Lam. For years, the Cecil faded into the background, forgotten, quiet, until one February morning, when a young woman from Canada vanished without a trace. And just like that, the Cecil was back, this time as the center of a global mystery. Her name was Elisa Lam, and her death would make the world question everything they thought they knew about reality, surveillance, and the thin line between mental illness and something darker. If everything before was just warning signs, then Elisa Lam's death was the final bell toll, marking the Cecil not as a hotel, but as a monument to the unexplained. Part 2. Elisa Lam, the girl who was followed. Some people enter a place and never walk out the same again. The story of Elisa Lam doesn't begin with a crime. It begins with a journey, one filled with dreams, discovery, and an unexpected descent into the unknown. She was a 21-year-old student from the University of British Columbia in Canada. Like many her age, she was curious, introspective, a bit restless. She wanted to see the world on her own terms. She kept a personal blog on Tumblr, titled Nouvelle Nouveau, where she posted quotes from literature, photos of city lights, reflections on loneliness, and flashes of hope. A book lover with a bright smile, and a storm instant. Elisa was warm, intelligent, and thoughtful. She adored classic English novels, enjoyed traveling alone, and tried to live fully. Despite one hidden fact, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. As she documented her struggles online with raw honesty, her posts included confessions like, "There are days I can't get out of bed. The meds don't seem to work anymore. The voices in my head don't sound like mine." She had been prescribed Seroquel, Lamotrigine, Effexor, and other medications, each powerful and critical in maintaining mental stability. If stopped abruptly, these drugs could cause hallucinations, paranoia, or severe disassociation, a solo trip, and the first signs of unraveling. In January 2013, Elisa began her West Coast tour of the U.S., stopping in San Diego, then arriving in Los Angeles. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, drawn by its low price and central location. At first, she shared a dorm-style room with 2 other women, but within 2 nights, hotel staff moved her into a private room, citing disturbing behavior. The specifics were never released. The last day, January 31st, the 013 Elisa was seen for the last time in the hotel lobby. She wore a red hoodie, shorts, and carried a book. That evening, she vanished. No calls to her family, no social media activity. Her phone stopped working. Her family contacted police. The search began. The elevator video, the footage that chilled the world. Days later, LAPD released a security clip that would become viral horror history. In it, Elisa stands inside a Cecil hotel elevator. She presses a sequence of buttons. The doors don't close. She peeks outside, then backs in quickly. She steps out, then back in, repeatedly. She moves her hands in erratic, unnatural patterns. Her lips move, but there's no sound. Was she hiding? Was she hallucinating? Was she talking to someone who isn't there? 13 days of silence after the elevator video. Elisa completely disappeared. No camera saw her leave. No financial activity. No calls, no texts, no trace. the hotel, the city, and now the internet were gripped by one question. Where did Elisa Lam go? Part 3. The elevator video. For minutes that froze the world, you can watch this video in daylight. But it's the kind that stays in your mind long after night falls. On February 13, 2013, the LAPD made a decision that would change the nature of the case and the internet forever. They released a 4-minute security video from the elevator of the Cecil Hotel. At first glance, it seemed uneventful, but then people watched, rewatched, zoomed in, slowed it down, and they realized something was very, very wrong. What the world saw, framed by chilling from ETH footage, shows Elisa Lam entering the elevator alone. She bends down and presses multiple floor buttons seemingly at random, but the elevator doesn't move. The doors remain open. Elisa peeks outside, as if checking for someone, then suddenly ducks back inside, hiding in the corner. She steps in and out repeatedly, looking nervous, paranoid. She begins making bizarre hand gestures, waving and contorting her fingers in unnatural, erratic ways. Her lips move as if talking to someone invisible. There is no audio, but the silence only makes it worse. Every movement seems deliberate and yet disconnected from reality. The anomalies that sparked the global investigation timecode glitch. Viewers noticed strange at its missing time stamps, leading many to believe that at least 30 to 40 seconds were cut. Why'd the elevator malfunction despite button presses? The elevator doesn't close for over 2 minutes. Some believe it was intentionally jammed. Others think it's supernatural. No one else aperciving that Elisa's actions suggest she's interacting with someone. No one else enters the frame. Not before, not after. Theories explode across the internet's ecological breakdown. Perhaps Elisa was suffering from a manic or psychotic episode caused by skipping medication. The erratic behavior could stem from mental illness, pursued by someone. Was she hiding from a stalker? Did someone follow her? Could a second person be just outside the frame, locked or edited out? The supernatural theory internet folklore compared her behavior to the elevator game, an urban legend where players follow a ritual to open a portal to another world via elevator floors. Her button pattern, erratic movements, and conversation with an unseen figure eerily matched the ritual steps. Then Elisa vanished. Video ends with Elisa stepping out of frame, and she was never seen alive again for minutes. No blood, no weapon, no screams, just a girl acting like she's already half in another world. And then gone. Part 4. The search and the water tank discovery. Whispers from the rooftop. Sometimes a body isn't found by searching, but by the living feeling something is wrong in the water. After the disturbing elevator video went viral, the search for Elisa Lam intensified, but despite police efforts, there was no sign of her anywhere for days. It was as if Elisa had simply vanished into thin air. A desperate search across every corner. Her family flew in from Canada. LAPD officers and trained dogs combed the hotel, rooms, storage closets, electrical areas, all searched. Nothing. Rooftop access was checked. No evidence of entry. Surveillance footage beyond the elevator yielded nothing new. Tension grew. The Cecil Hotel had become a crime scene in plain sight. The first clue came from the faucets. Nearly 2 weeks after her disappearance, guests began reporting something strange. The water pressure was low. It smelled metallic, almost rotten. When I brushed my teeth, it tasted off. One guest even posted a photo, a glass of tap water the color of iced tea. And that's when maintenance was called in. The rooftop inspection that changed everything. In February 19th, a maintenance worker climbed to the roof to inspect the 4 large water tanks that supply the hotel. These tanks are about 10 feet tall. Industrial grade, sealed with heavy lids, positioned on steel platforms difficult to reach without a ladder. He opened one lid, and there she was. Elisa Lam, floating face down, naked, lifeless. Her clothes were found nearby, also in the tank. The impossible puzzle: how did she get there? The rooftop was supposed to be locked and alarmed. No alerts were triggered. The tank was too tall to climb into easily. The lid was closed when the body was found despite it being too heavy to lift from inside. No signs of foul play, no bruises, no DNA from others, no witnesses. Her phone was never recovered. It was as if Elisa Lam had somehow entered a sealed tomb with no path in and no way out. Autopsy: more questions than answers. The official report stated cause of death: accidental drowning. No drugs or alcohol found. Prescription medications were absent, suggesting Elisa had not taken her meds properly for days. She showed no trauma. No clear evidence of assault, and yet nothing about her death made sense. Who climbs into a 10-foot tank alone, naked, with no ladder, then closes the lid from inside? The world demanded answers, but all they got was water, murky, still, and full of secrets. Part 5. Theories and analysis. Who or what killed Elisa Lam? A body in a water tank, a locked rooftop, a video from another dimension, and millions of unanswered questions. though the official cause of death was ruled as accidental drowning. Few people accepted that explanation. Not her family. Not the internet. Not the millions who watched that elevator footage and felt a chill down their spine. Here are the leading theories that continue to keep this case alive. 1. Mental illness. A psychotic break triggered by skipped medication. Elisa had bipolar disorder, and the autopsy showed incomplete levels of prescribed medications in her system. This suggests she may have stopped taking her meds, slipped into a manic or psychotic state, suffering hallucinations or delusions, wandered the hotel in confusion, and somehow made her way into the water tank. But how did she get onto the roof? How did she lift the tank lid? And if she was in a psychotic state, how did she manage to close the lid behind her? 2. Homicide. Someone wanted her dead and knew how to hide its suspicious facts. No one saw her leave the hotel, yet her body was found in a restricted area. The roof door was alarmed, yet no alarm sounded. Her clothes were off. Found floating in the tank, raising flags about potential foul play. Online sleuths began pointing fingers. A hotel employee? Someone with keys, knowledge of the roof, and access to security footage. Another guest. Perhaps someone staying on the same floor. A controversial case involved a musician who had stayed at the Cecil months earlier and was wrongfully targeted by an internet mob justice despite having no connection. 3. Paranormal. Something otherworldly was at work. This is where the lines blur. Some believe Elisa may have unwittingly participated in the elevator game, a viral Korean urban legend. Rules of the game include entering a building alone, pressing elevator buttons in a specific sequence, encountering a mysterious woman on the 5th floor but never speaking to her. Players report entering a parallel dimension, Elisa's actions in the elevator, pressing many buttons, acting terrified, speaking to someone unseen. Mirror this ritual eerily well. Did she open the door that should have stayed shut? 4. The Cecil curse. Death feeds death. Some say Elisa didn't stand a chance the moment she checked into the Cecil. With decades of suicides, murders, overdoses, and trauma soaked into its walls, the hotel became a vortex of dark energy. Numerous guests have reported nightmares, feeling watched, hearing whispers at night. Did the building itself consume her? Was Elisa another victim of a place that attracts death? Every theory has holes. Every explanation feels just out of reach. And that is what makes this case timeless. Part 6. Why Elisa Lam's case still haunts us. What truly terrifies us isn't death. It's silence where the truth should be. More than a decade has passed since Elisa Lam's body was found on the rooftop of the Cecil Hotel. And yet each year, millions still Google her name. New documentaries, podcasts, YouTube analyses, and Reddit threads still emerge. The case refuses to fade. Why? Because this isn't just a story about death. It's a story about uncertainty, vulnerability, and the shadows we try not to see. 1. It's a perfect storm of contradictions. A bright, literature-loving student found dead in a tank. A historic hotel, now known more for corpses than comfort. A normal security video that feels anything but normal. The case walks the line between logic and legend, reality and the surreal. 2. The internet made it personal. Elisa wasn't just a name on the news. She had a Tumblr blog, relatable thoughts, and a face you could connect with. The elevator video invited everyone into her final moments. Suddenly, the case wasn't police business, it was the internet's to solve. And the more people analyzed, the further from truth we drifted. 3. She became a symbol of something larger. Elisa represents the modern loneliness of being young, connected online, but isolated in real life, the silent suffering of those with mental health conditions, often unnoticed until it's too late, the vulnerability of women who travel alone in a world that doesn't always protect them. Her death forced us to ask questions we often ignore, for she vanished from a place full of people. That's what chills us most. Elisa wasn't taken in a forest. She didn't go missing in the desert. She disappeared in the middle of a crowded hotel, in a city with cameras, tech, and people everywhere. And for 13 days no one had any idea where she was. She died, and the world kept turning. 5. The unanswered truth lingers. Crave closure, but Elisa's story offers none. Every theory contradicts another. Every answer sparks a new question. And maybe that's why we can't let go. This wasn't just a mystery. It was a mirror showing us how little we really know about the places we live, the people we pass, and even ourselves. Final epilogue. A message from room 57. Some stories end with a bang. Elisa's ends with a whisper, echoing still from a rooftop tank. The death of Elisa Lam wasn't just another entry on a police file. It became a global ghost story because it exposed something deeper. Our fear of vanishing without being noticed. Our realization that some places carry secrets you can't scrub away. And our haunting suspicion that sometimes the truth hides not in shadows but in plain sight. Now, room 57 wants to hear from you. What do you believe happened to Elisa Lam? Which theory makes the most sense or scares you the most? Have you ever been in a place that just felt wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's unravel this mystery together. If this story chilled you, intrigued you, or made you think, hit that like button. It helps us bring you more true horror that goes beyond headlines. Subscribe to Room 57 because there are still doors left to open and secrets yet to surface. Share this video with a friend who thinks they've heard every urban legend. They haven't heard this one. Thanks for staying until the very last scene. We'll be back when the lights flicker and the next case demands to be told. This is Room 57, where stories don't end, they echo.